Hello friends, today we are going to discuss one of the most important topics of industrial engineering, that is POT and CPM. That is POT and CPM. So if we look from the examination point of view, that is GATE, then it is one of the most important topic, triple star. It is one of the most important topic from the GATE point of view, because if you look at the weightage, that is if you look at the weightage, total marks, suppose the total marks of industrial engineering is 6 to 7, total marks 6 to 7 in GATE examination. So if you look at this chapter, it will definitely have questions either in the morning shift or in the evening shift, or sometimes even in the both shifts. Questions from POT and CPM are asked, and the weightage is 2 to 3 marks. And the weightage is 2 to 3 marks. So it is one of the most important topic. And basically questions are asked from one topic only, that is, you see it, network diagram. So network diagram becomes very important in this chapter. I will tell you how to make the network diagram, what is the network diagram, what are the rules of the network diagram. So basically questions are asked from this topic, network diagram. And this topic is mechanical engineering also and civil engineering also. So for both the branches, this topic is important. So we will start from the basics, that is, we will deal with the different terms. Which are used in POT and CPM, and how to make a network diagram. So to make a network diagram, there are certain predefined rules. You have to follow those rules. Okay, you have to follow those rules. Only after following those rules, you can make a network diagram, a proper network diagram, or a right network diagram. So let's start. So the first term is project. So the first term is project. Our first term or first topic in basic terms is project, and you are well aware about what is project. So suppose you are given a work to construct a house. You are given a work to construct a house. So what you will do? There are certain predefined steps. For construction of a house. The first thing you are going to do, you will look for a land. The next step will be, you will make a proper design. The third one will be the foundation, layout of a foundation. For making a house, foundation is important. And the fourth one will be construction of the first floor, and further. So look at it. It is a step-by-step process. Construction of a house is a step-by-step process. First one is land acquisition, second one is design, third one is foundation layout, and the fourth one is construction of first floor. So when you combine all these activities, you will finally complete your project. So how can we define project? We can define project, listen to me, we can define project It is a project is a combination of interrelated activities. Project is a combination of interrelated activities which must be completed in time to complete the project. It is a combination of interrelated activities which must be completed on time to complete the project. So I am writing the definition. So I am writing the definition of project. I am writing it. It is a combination of interrelated activities which must be completed to accomplish the project. What is the example? For example, construction of a house. Construction of a house. It is an example of a project. Okay. So the next term, our next term is, look at the definition, activity. So what is activity? Somebody will ask you, what is activity? So our next term is activity. So when you looked at the example, that land acquisition, design, preparation, layout of the foundation, construction of first floor. So each term that is land, after that design, individually these all are activity. These all can be defined as activity. So we can say that activity is a part of project. Activity is a part of project which consumes time and resources. Activity is a part of project which consumes time and resources, because in doing all these things, acquisition of land, preparation of the design, you will have to spend some time and you will have to spend some resources in terms of, it can be machine, it can be manpower, it can be money. These all are resources in industrial engineering. So we can say it is a part of project. It is a part of project which consumes time and resources. Because every activity will consume time and it will consume some manpower, it will consume some machineries, and it will consume some amount of money. So it is activity. So you can define now project in a more confined manner, that it is a combination of interrelated activities. All activities are interrelated with each other. Our next term, that is third one, is event. Our next term is event. So what is event? You can define it like this. Event is a part of project. Which does not consume any time, neither resource. Event is a part of project which does not consume any time, neither resource. It only marks the beginning and termination of an activity. So we can write it like this. It is a part of project. It is a part of project which does not consume any time, which does not consume any time or resources, which does not consume any time or resources. And the next line is very important. Next line is very important. It only marks the beginning and termination. It only marks the beginning and termination of an activity. Of an activity. So suppose you are going to study industrial engineering. You are studying industrial engineering. So suppose you take a book. You take a book of industrial engineering. Industrial Engineering and Operation Research, IE and OR. This is the book of industrial engineering. So industrial engineering is your project. Industrial engineering or completion of industrial engineering will be your project. What you are studying, which chapter you are studying, the chapter is PERT and CPM. The chapter is PERT and CPM. So PERT and CPM is going to be your activity. PERT and CPM is going to be your activity, and project is your industrial engineering and operation research. The activity is your PERT and CPM. The PERT and CPM activity is your PERT and CPM. So what is the event? What is the event? The cover page of the book is going to be your event. The cover page of the book or the last page of the book, is going to be your event. You do not study the cover page or the last page. You only study the inside chapters. So the inside chapters are going to be your activity. The whole subject is going to be your project, and the cover page and the back cover of the book is going to be your event. So we can say that you do not study the cover page and the back cover. It means it is a part of the project, but it will not consume any time. It will not consume any time or any resource. It will not consume any time or any resource because you are not going to study it. You are not going to study the cover page and the back cover page. So it is not going to consume any time or any resource. The next line is very important. It only marks the beginning and termination of an activity. It only marks the beginning and termination of an activity. It means the first page, we are going to start the cover page, means, and the next chapter is PERT and CPM. The next activity or next chapter is PERT and CPM. So you are saying that when you are going to start reading the book, you will move the cover page. So you will say that we have started our activity. And when you close the PERT and CPM, the back page, you will say that it is also an event, and it tells that we have completed our activity. You will get to know each and every term in detail in upcoming lectures. It is only the basics. It is only the theory. You will learn everything in the network diagram. You will learn every numerical. You can solve each and every numerical with the basics. So you have to learn the basics very carefully. So this is event. It will only say that the activity has been started and the activity has ended. The event only tells that we have started our activity or we have finished our activity. So one question will come to your mind. one question will come to your mind that why we are going to study about activity and event, because you have to make the network diagram. Because you have to make the network diagram. A network diagram can be made with the help of activity and with the help of event. A network diagram is going to be made with the help of an activity and with the help of event. So the next term is network diagram. So the next term is network diagram. What is a network diagram? What is a network diagram? Okay, what is a network diagram? So basically we can say it is a graphical representation. You can see the term diagram. You can see the term diagram. So we can define it like this. It is a graphical representation of the logical sequence of activity. It is a graphical representation. It is a graphical representation of the logical sequence of activity. It is the graphical representation of the logical sequence of the activity. Means for construction of a house, the first activity is land acquisition. The second activity is design making. The third activity is preparation of the foundation. You cannot start it first by preparing the design. First you have to acquire the land. So it says a logical sequence. There must be a logical sequence. We cannot start the activity at any time. We cannot start any activity at any time. Okay, first we cannot prepare the first floor and then foundation. First we have to prepare the foundation, then we have to move to the next floor. So it says that all the activity are represented in a diagram. Whatever activity you are going to study, or whatever activity you have taken, you have to represent all those activity in a graphical manner. You have to represent all those activity in a graphical manner, but also in a logical sequence. And you are doing it daily. Especially for mechanical engineers or any engineers, you are doing it daily. So I am drawing it. What is a network diagram? I am drawing it. Suppose I'm just taking an example. It's not like that. How did you made the network diagram? I will tell you everything. Just for example, I am drawing a network diagram. Just for example, and after that I will tell you about the rules. Of the network diagram, that how you will draw it in your examination. Suppose this is our thermodynamics. This is our basic thermodynamics. Every mechanical people know what is basic thermodynamics. So suppose you are going to study basic thermodynamics, so it is your one of the activity. Basic thermodynamics is your one of the activity, and I am drawing it. What is this? This is IC engine. This is RAC, refrigeration and air conditioning, and this is PP. PP means power plant. And the next one is your test. So suppose you are going to appear in the test of thermodynamics. So what is your project? The project is the test of thermodynamics. The project is test of thermodynamics. And what is the activity? What is the activity? Activity is that you have to first complete the basics of thermodynamics. You have to first complete the basics of thermodynamics, and after that you have to deal with the applications. After that you have to deal with the applications. It cannot be like that first you have started the IC engine and then you are going for basic thermodynamics. You have, if you have to appear in the test, if you have to appear in the test of thermodynamics, then you must have to start from here. First start your basic thermodynamics, then go for either IC engine, RAC or power plant, and then you will be able to appear in the test. You will be able to appear in the test. So this diagram, this not blue color one. So this diagram, you can say it is a network diagram. So this diagram, you can say it is a network diagram. So I'm again repeating the statements. I'm again repeating the statements that it is the complete project. It is a complete project and it is a combination of interrelated activities. These are different activities: basic thermodynamics, IC engine, RAC, power plant, and the test. These are basic activities which you are going to complete. So you have represented it on a network diagram. You have represented it on a network diagram. Different activities has been represented on the network diagram, but in a logical sequence. You can say it, but in a logical sequence. So there are a lot of logics. There are a lot of logics, and for that you have to look out for the rules. You have to look out for the rules, basic rules. What are the logical sequence? How we can follow the basic rules? So our next topic, that is very basics one. We are only in basics. We are only in basics. So we will start the new topic, that is rules of a network diagram. If you are going to make the network diagram, then you have to follow a predefined set of rules. And I am again saying that network diagram making is very important in this chapter, PERT and CPM. This is very important because in each and every questions, if you look at the previous year question, in each and every question we will watch this type of diagram. We will watch this type of network diagram. So you must know how to make it. What are the different types of network diagram? You must know, and you must know how to make it just by looking at the question. So for that you have to look out for the rules. So I am writing it. The first rule says an activity can be represented by an arrow only. An activity can be represented by an arrow only. The first rule says that an activity can be represented by an arrow only. For example, suppose your activity is A. A is your activity, some activity. Suppose land acquisition. Land acquisition is activity A, and you have to represent it. In a network diagram. So what you will do? You will draw the arrow. And write the activity A above it. This is the way to represent an activity in a network diagram. An activity can be represented by an arrow only. An activity can be represented by an arrow only. So draw a arrow. So draw a arrow and write the activity above it. Draw a arrow and write the activity above it. Okay. What is the next step? What is the next step? You will see that a circle, you will see that a circle at the arrow end and a circle at the tail end. A circle at the arrow end and a circle at the tail end is drawn in every figure. So these circles represent event. These circles represent event. These circles represent event. So what was the event? Just remember the statement of event. What was the event? It says that it is a part of the project. Okay, it is a part of the project. It does not consume any time and resource, but it only marks the beginning and termination of an activity. This event, name it 1. So event 1 says that the activity A has been started. Event 1 says that the activity A has been started, and this is 2. Event 2 says that the activity A has been terminated. The activity A has been terminated or activity A has been completed. Activity A has been completed. So this is the way to represent an activity in a network diagram. Okay, since this event is present at the tail end or back end, so it is also known as tail event. It is also known as tail event. And since this event 2 is present at the arrow end, it is also known as head event. It is also known as head event. So the first rule must be clear to everyone. That an activity can be represented by an arrow. This is the tail event and this is the head event. The tail event says that the activity A has been started, and the head event says that the activity A has been terminated or completed. What is the next rule? The second rule says an activity can only be started if the preceding activities are completed. Okay, so what it says that suppose the first activity was activity A. The first activity was activity A, and what was it? It was land acquisition. So first you have to complete this activity. First you have to complete land acquisition, that is activity A, and the next was design making. So if you want to start the next activity, this activity must be completed. And once you have completed or terminated this activity, you can start your next activity, that is activity B. Once the activity B is completed, you can again start the next activity, that is activity C. Okay, so it says that an activity can be started. An activity can only be started if the preceding A is preceding to B and B is preceding to C. So if the preceding activities are completed, then only you can start the new activity. But you have to go for this statement according to question. You have to go for this statement according to question, because it may happen sometimes that two activities are started simultaneously. How? In the question itself, it says that activity A and activity D activity A and activity A, D, both are starting simultaneously. So you have to start them simultaneously. But if it says that activity A is precedence to B and activity B is precedence to C, then you have to follow this rule. If in the question it says that activity B and C are precedence to A, then you have to follow this rule. But if it says that A and D can be started, it can be started simultaneously, then you can draw it like this. So this statement is also very much important. The next one, third one. The third one, it says no two activity can have a common head and tail event. It says that no two activity can have a common head and tail event. You already know that what is head event and what is tail event. You already know. So suppose you are making a network diagram like this. This is event 1, this is activity A, and this is event 2. You have drawn it like this. But in the question it also says that there is another activity B, which is starting simultaneously to A. Then what you will do? You will have to draw it like this. And it also says that activity B is also starting from event 1 and it is terminating at event 2. It says that there is two activities, activity A and activity B. Activity A is starting from event 1 and it is terminating to event 2, and it says that there is another activity which is starting at event 1 and it is completing at event 2. Then you will make this network diagram like this. But when you will go to the rule, when you will look for the rule, it says that no two activity can have a common head and tail event. It directly says that no two activity can have a common head and tail event. So just look at it now. Activity A and activity B, these are two activity and they are having a common head, that is 2, and they are having a common tail, that is 1. So this is not applicable. This is wrong. You cannot draw it like this. So what you will do? Because in the question it has been said that activity A and activity B both should be started simultaneously and their head event is 2 and their tail event is 1. So what you will do? Then look for the next rule. Rule number 4. It says that dummy activity dummy activity can be used, dummy activity can be used whenever required. So if you make the network diagram like this and it is wrong, so just look for the dummy activity. So just look for the dummy activity, bring the dummy activity into action and it will solve your problem. Bring dummy activity into action and it is going to solve your problem, because it says dummy activity can be used whenever required. Now we require dummy activity because we are not able to solve this network diagram. So we will require a dummy activity and we will make this network diagram like this. We will make this network diagram like this. It says that there is event 1 and there is an activity A. So draw it like this. Draw it like this. It says that there is another event B. There is another event B, which is starting from the same event, which is starting from the same tail event, that is event 1, and it has to be terminated at event 2. So what you will do? You will just draw a dash line. You will just draw a dash line and you will write above it B dash. You will write above it B dash. So it says that B dash says that I am a dummy activity. This B dash is a dummy activity. It has got no physical significance. Dummy activity has got no physical significance, but with the help of dummy activity, you can solve the problem of a network diagram. Now, just look at the network diagram. Look at the activity A and activity B. These activity A and activity B are having a common tail event. Activity A and activity B are having a common tail event, but look at their head. They are not having a common head event, but they are not having a common head event because you have used a dummy activity, and this network diagram is absolutely correct. This network diagram is absolutely correct. So whenever you get stuck into this type of problems, just look for the dummy activity. So just look for the dummy activity. Now you will get a question that, sir, what is the number, what is the maximum number that we can use the dummy activity? Okay, you will have a question, sir, what is the finite number that we can use the dummy activity? Suppose you in a network diagram you are simply using dummy activities, so it is also not recommended. It is also not recommended. So the next rule says, that is rule number 5. The next rule says that dummy activity can only be used whenever required. Dummy activity can only be used whenever required. Okay, so you have to use it wisely. Okay, dummy activity can only be used whenever required. There is not restriction that you can use only one dummy activity or you can use only 2 dummy activities. There is no restriction on the number of dummy activity in network diagram, but you have to use it wisely. That is whenever required. Whenever you stuck in a problem of common head and tail event, then only you have to go for dummy activity. Okay, you have to only go for dummy activity. So you are going to have another doubt. Sir, what is dummy activity? What it actually does? What is a dummy activity? So we can define it in two ways. And what I am going to write here, is a objective question in GATE examination or any other state PSU examination. Okay, so the first point is dummy activity does not consume any time or resource. Dummy activity does not consume any time or resource. That's why there is no restriction on numbers that you can use only one or you can use only two, because it says that dummy activity does not consume any time or resource. Dummy activity does not consume any time or resource. It only shows the second statement. It only shows the precedence relationship. It only shows the precedence relationship, and this term only has been asked in the GATE examination or any other objective examination, that a dummy activity is used to represent dash, fill in the blanks. You have to fill it precedence relationship. It only tells that a activity is present in precedence to the following activity. Dummy activity only says that a activity is present in precedence to the following activity. For example, we will be more clear with the example. Suppose you are drawing it like this: activity A and activity B. Because I have drawn it like this because it says that activity A and activity B has the same starting point and they have the same ending point, but we cannot do it like this. So what we will do, we will just draw a dummy activity B dash. And suppose there was another activity, activity C, which was the activity C, which so we have to draw another activity C. Why? Because it says that activity A and activity B was precedence to activity C. Activity A and activity B was precedence to C, but we cannot draw it. We cannot draw B like this. We cannot terminate B at this point. That's why we have made a dummy activity. So what B dash shows? B dash shows that A and B are precedence to C. This B dash is dummy activity. B dash shows that the activity B dash or dummy activity B dash is precedence activity. So B dash shows that A and B are precedence to C. So we can say that a dummy activity shows the precedence relationship. And the first statement says that it does not consume any time or resource. Consume any time or resource. It means that suppose this was your activity A. And it was going to consume 3 days. So you have to write it like this: A, 3 means your activity is activity A and the time it is going to take is 3. Like this only. B, 5. Activity is B and it is going to consume 5 days. So the number represents the time taken to complete the activity. The number written with activity represents the time. It shows time. For B dash, suppose C was going to take 2 days. C was going to take 2 days. But what about dummy activity B dash? What about dummy activity B dash? It says that a dummy activity does not consume any time or resource. So you have to simply write it 0. B dash is a dummy activity and it will not consume any time. B dash is a dummy activity and it will not consume any time. It only shows the precedence relationship that A and B are precedence to activity C. A and B, both the activities are precedence to activity C. Questions are asked. 2019 GATE problem was about dummy activity only. So you must know how to draw the dummy activity. You must know how to draw the dummy activity. We will take the example. We will take the example in upcoming lectures that how to draw the network diagram. We will draw the network diagram first and then we will move for the next numericals. So just remember the rules. Just remember the rules. Now the number 6, it says that loop formation is not allowed. It says that loop formation is not allowed. So what is loop? So again, drawing a network diagram. So just look at it. Activity A consumes 5 days. Activity B consumes 10 days. Activity C consumes 5 days. But when you will look at it, look at activity A. It is starting from event 1, ending at event 2. B starting from event 2, ending at event 3. And C is starting from 3. Okay, that's okay. But it is again going back to 1. So it is just like a loop. It is just like a loop. And this loop formation is not allowed. If you are getting a loop in the network diagram, you are making it wrong. Again check the network diagram. You must have done any mistakes. Check for the network diagram. You must have done any mistakes. So it should not be allowed, and this is not allowed. Loop formation is not allowed. Either in clockwise or in anti-clockwise, the loop formation is not allowed. The last rule, rule number 7, the last rule says that dangling, dangling is not permitted. It says that dangling is not permitted. So what is dangling? Again draw the network diagram. I am just simply numbering it. 1, 2, this is 3, 4 and 5. I am simply numbering it. So when you will look at this network diagram, this is not a loop. This is not a loop. Okay, this is not a loop. Okay, this is correct. This is not a loop. So just look at it. So when you will look at F, this process when left, f is left alone, f is left alone. This was the last activity, this was the last activity, suppose, and when f is left alone, then this is known as dangling. This is known as dangling, and this is not permitted, and this is not permitted. This f is left alone, this f is left alone, so this is known as dangling, this is known as dangling, and this is not permitted. So you have to correct it, so you have to correct it. So what you have to do, you have to simply terminate this activity f at event 5. You have to simply terminate this activity f at event 5. You have to simply terminate this activity. Okay, you have to simply terminate this activity f at event 5. Then this network diagram is correct. Now there is no dangling, there is no loop formation, there is no common head or tail event. Okay, so you have to look that dangling is not permitted. If there is dangling, then terminate those activity to the last event, then terminate those activity to the last event. So in the next lecture I will be dealing with how to make a network diagram. We have studied the rules, just go through it, remember it, because during making of a network diagram you will need it, and for the questions, for the numerical point of view, network diagram is very important. So in the next lectures I will be telling you about what are the different types of network diagram, and how you are going to make a network diagram just by looking at the question. Thank you.